Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Class Action Megapark. Now the park is slowly growing. I really like the attractions we've added so far. In the last episode I added this coaster here with this big haunted mansion. The coaster actually goes through this track layout backwards, as you can as you can see here. I thought it was quite a fun addition and definitely something that fits in this park. In this episode, I actually want to continue on the pirate area. I want to extend it a little bit to over here, and I want to fill in this corner of the park. Now, how do I want to fill in this corner? Probably gonna make a little bridge here, and I want to have sort of like a volcano in this section, with basically with a ride where guests are on a small track, which makes it look like they're gonna fall down into the volcano, but at the last moment it stops and goes back into the station. So it's kind of like a ride I made in Mount Dirklink, but I think it will fit perfectly here, and especially with some extra fire, it will definitely fit well in this park. Now I'm just going to build a quick model of this ride just to show you how it's going to work. Okay, this is sort of what the ride will look like. So there's two vehicles here. And there's two vehicles down here. They're all part of the same track, but because they're all part of the same train. I mean, I moved these vehicles further along the track with the right vehicle editor, and these trains will go down. They want to go down, but this part of the train, which is part of the same train, so you could see them as being attached. Because they're going on a steeper track, they will actually stop the train from going down too much. Because this part of the track is steeper, they will actually impart more negative acceleration onto this train, so it will go back again. Might be a bit of a difficult explanation, but that's sort of how it works. Now, if I move these trains backwards a little bit more, these trains will continue on longer before they go back. Or I could give the train some more launch speed. So I'm just going to play with it a little bit, but that should give you an idea of how it works. Okay, I may have given it a little bit too much speed there. It's quite delicate. But yeah, that's just sort of how it works. Okay, I'm going to build a big volcano here, and yeah, let's see if we can make it look nice, and after that I'm going to put the ride on top. I decided to add a little sphinx here on the side of the volcano. Doesn't really make sense, but I think it's something fun for the people to watch as they're on the parking lot. Just a little decoration. Okay, the volcano shape is now mostly complete. I also did some work around the edge of it, around the edge of the map. I also decided to remove these trees here next to the parking lot. And instead I'm probably going to put some palm trees and stuff right besides the... right after the fence. Because I think it's important to actually keep to the theming of a certain area. And I think these parking lot trees actually kind of break that immersion. Okay, since the volcano shop is done, I will start working on the ride here. And that will also make it more clear to me if I need to make the volcano any deeper or not. Now, as for inside the volcano, I kind of want to use this... I cannot find it. Probably over here. Yeah, this swamp goo. But I want to have it in a different color, so it looks like lava. So for that I'm going to use a recolorable version of this object, if I can find it. But yeah, first I need to figure out how deep, if it has to be any deeper. I want this coaster to drop down to slightly above the lava and then return back to the station. So just going to put some of that recolorable swamp goo there in orange color, and probably also some of those fire objects from the mechanical set. Alright, I think that's close enough to the edge. So I just moved the cars, these cars that are on the bottom track, I just moved them backwards a little bit. There's tiny increments just to get these cars as close to the edge as possible. Now actually when there are guests in these vehicles, they will actually be slightly heavier, so that will influence the balance between these cars. There's actually 3 cars here and 2 cars here. I believe this third car will actually make it so that the difference the guest weight makes doesn't really influence it too much. Now I do want to make sure that no guests actually enter these vehicles. I only want guests in these vehicles, but the ride vehicle editor can also do that. So if we have this ride here, for these vehicles 3, 4 and 5, I can simply set the amount of seats to 0. So that should make it that no guests actually enter these vehicles. Okay, with that done, I can now start working on the station of the ride, and I will also decorate the volcano to make it look like an actual volcano. Okay, I've now made a simple station for this ride. I call it Sacrifice. I think that's a fitting name for it. Also made some custom supports to hold up the track here. It's quite simple supports, but I felt it needed some in order for it to look a tiny bit more realistic. Now I'm probably going to add a little bit more, some more fences to it. But first, yeah, I think the ride is ready to be opened. But yeah, the guests are already struggling to get around the park, especially because of the huge amount of junctions that are in this section of the park. And if we enable the debug tools and select show wide paths, wait, there you can see which paths the game ignores for the pathfinding. Oh yeah, and with the paths that the game ignores, it's actually quite difficult for the guests to actually find their way into the park. It's not really straightforward for the guests to actually get over here. Yeah, I already said that there's quite a lot of junctions here in the park, which doesn't make it easy for the guests. So if I were to open the ride that's over here, a lot of guests who are actually searching for the ride will probably end up over here, because this section of the park is closest to this ride from over here, and probably a lot of guests won't be able to find out that in order to get over here they will actually have to go all the way around this. So in order to tackle this problem, what I will probably need here is an underground path. So I will just hide an underground path in one of these buildings. We'll just hide it over here, and I will make a little stall here. Probably a shop for seafood, a shop that actually sold sharks, maybe with one of these shark trains on top as decoration. I think that would be really cool. And with that path ending up here, the guests should be able to find their way towards this attraction, and hopefully it also solve a bit of the crowding that's happening in this area. A lot of guests also admiring these planters. Yeah, they probably haven't seen anything as beautiful in their lives. Alright, I will now get to work on the underground path. Okay, the stats of this ride are pretty low, so that's why I changed the ride into a lift ride type. It makes it a transport ride, and since it's free, guests will ride it regardless of its stats. Now, and this track that you see here, it's just a track that I overlaid onto the track, which became invisible when I turned it into a lift. Now, guests tend to flock towards new rides. Well, this ride stats are pretty low. But I think when I open it, we will see quite a few guests actually moving over to this area. So I will now just open it and see what happens. As you can see, quite a few guests are now heading up to the new ride, Sacrifice. You can all see them pop up from over here. So yeah, I think I did a good job here combating this overcrowding here. You can see a lot of guests heading into the gift shop here. So I think it's a convenient shortcut for the guests. Whenever I fill in this area, I will probably do the same, just to make it a little bit easier for the guests to actually get around the park. So yeah, if your park has a difficult layout for guests to follow, remember you can always make straightforward shortcuts underground, and yeah, that for sure will help your guests get around, especially if you don't use many junctions on them. Then they will for sure become preferred paths for guests to follow. Alright, our shark soup shop is now complete. So the guests can actually buy some soup here in this store. It's actually a witch brew shop which sells wonton soup, but I think it serves well enough as actual shark soup. I don't actually see any guests. Oh wait, this guest probably eating wonton soup. Yeah, that's right. So I just made a little bit of a seating area above here on the second floor of this little building. So these overhangs, awnings, that kind of stuff, they really help to give buildings some character. So if you find your buildings look boring, just try extending some of these structures from your buildings, or just have some random little extensions next to your building, and that will definitely help them to come alive. Okay, I'm just going to continue doing a little bit of decoration here on this ride, on this volcano, because it still looks a little bit bare bones in areas. I'm just going to put some little rocks, and also gonna try to make this landscape look a little bit more interesting. Alright, with our park growing, I mean, we also need more staff, because they cannot possibly handle all these paths anymore. So time to hire some more handymen, and also probably some mechanics. Okay, and that's not all the stuff we want. I also want an extra entertainer in the park, and he will be named after one of my patrons. So let's quickly do the patrol area. He can patrol this area on the volcano. Probably this is a good spot for him to walk around. And a pirate seems appropriate here. So we will name him Daxel. So thanks a lot for the support, Daxel. Daxel is one of the guys who have been supporting me for the longest. So yeah, really appreciate it. Alright, that was all the building I'm going to do for this episode. Now, here's something I really hate to do, which is begging for likes and for people to subscribe. But yeah, doing so would really help out my channel. So if you liked this video, please consider pressing that like button. It only takes a second to do, and it really helps out my channel. And if you really like my videos, you come back often. It would also really help me out if you subscribed to my channel. Alright, with that out of the way, I think it will be fun to take a ride on this new ride called Sacrifice from several angles. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching me build, and I'll see you again in the next video. See you later.